Welcome back, guys, to VoiceyHere and another r/EntitledParents video. I'm your host, Captain Cameron, for the weekend show. If you enjoyed watching Captain Zach last weekend, go subscribe to the channel he's on, Daily Dose of Reddit. The link is in the description down below. Also, let us know what subreddits you'd like to see there. In today's episode, we've got some entitled mothers who just keep on lying. It's a really awkward moment when they get caught in the lie and then they try to lie their way out of that, and it just keeps building on top of itself over and over and over again, and then you start to wonder, what if they just didn't lie in the first place? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This first story is titled, Entitled Mother's Diabetic Son Needs My Cinnamon Roll. To start the scene, this was about a year ago. My friend and I went to the mall to get some new clothes and stopped at the food court to get a snack. So my friend and I had been at the mall for about an hour when we started to get hungry and decided to stop at the food court. We went to a pastry restaurant that is mainly known for selling cinnamon rolls. I ended up getting the last cinnamon roll while my friend got some pretzel thing. I don't remember what it was called. We sat down with our food, and 5 minutes later, a lady and her son walked up to the worker. She wasn't paying much attention to the worker and decided her phone was more important. "Hello, ma'am, how may I help you today?" "I want a cinnamon roll for my son." "Oh, I'm sorry, we just ran out. That lady sitting down got the last one. We're currently making some though, so they should be ready in about 15 minutes. Finally, looking up from her phone, "I can't wait that long. My son is a type 1 diabetic. He could die." "I'm sorry, ma'am. I can offer you a drink or something else we've made currently." "I'm fine." She and her son walk over towards my table. My friend and I continue talking and laughing at memes or something on our phones when the mother clears her throat. Hi. "Give me that cinnamon roll." At this point, I had already eaten half of it, and it was mine because I paid for it. So I told her no, and continued to talk to my friend. "I said give me that cinnamon roll. It's for my son. He is a type 1 diabetic, and he'll die if he doesn't have that." I look up at my friend to see her smirking. See, what this mom doesn't know is that I am a type 1 diabetic. I have been for 16 years out of my total 19 years of living. I don't know a time without it, and I feel like I'm well informed on my own disease at this point. Obviously, I don't know everything, but you get the point. If he's a type 1 diabetic and it's so urgent, then why can't you go somewhere else to get him something? "He's just so picky, and I really don't want him to die because of you being selfish. Just give him the cinnamon roll." I look at this kid up and down. Now, I know you can't tell if someone has diabetes by just looking at them, but I didn't notice any site or injection scars on his arms or legs. That doesn't necessarily mean he isn't, because he could just do his incisions where people won't see them. I did that for a while because I was embarrassed, so I can understand, but something about them didn't feel right. My gut was telling me that he wasn't diabetic. "Well, what's his blood glucose level at? Maybe I can help." With a panicked look on her face, she says, It's at 13. "Oh wow, you should take him to an emergency room. I'm so surprised he's still walking around. And he's not pale at all. How are you still conscious?" "I'm just a strong diabetic." Now I can hear my friend next to me trying to contain her laughter. She's been my friend long enough to know that if you ever go that low, you typically aren't acting fine and dandy. You're either unconscious or having a seizure. So we both know this mom is lying, and she knows we've caught her in the act. "I don't know what you mean. He's obviously I cut her off and show her my insulin pump. "Ma'am, the next time you try to scam someone to give your kid food, make sure they don't have the disease you claim they have. Now please leave us alone so I can finish my food without going low. Goodbye." The entitled mother goes red. She grabs her kid and they storm out of the mall. I haven't seen either of them since, and I'm glad I haven't. My friend and I got to finish our food in peace, and we still currently joke about them when we go to the mall. What I love about this story is that the mother claims her child is on the verge of death, but the only thing that will save him is a random lady's half-eaten cinnamon roll. She couldn't order any other item on the menu. She couldn't go to any other restaurant in the food court. It had to be that specific lady's half-eaten cinnamon roll. Absolutely absurd. This next one is titled, Entitled Mom Tries to Steal My Game Console for Her Son. This story takes place a few years ago in a mall quite far from my hometown. A little backstory. My dad loves everything retro. He's always blasting old music, quoting old movies, but most of all, he loves old retro video games. He talked a lot about this off-brand gaming console his dad got him as a kid, and at the time he didn't understand it was cheap and off-brand, but he loved it so much. Since he was young and the console was not Nintendo, Sega, or a well-known company like that, he didn't remember the name of it and couldn't find it at any store, even with the description he gave. I, like my father, love video games. I mostly play new next-gen games, but I still appreciate the old stuff. I wanted to buy either an Xbox or PS4. Either one I bought was going to be so expensive, and I wanted to get one cheap. I decided to use Craigslist, and I searched up video game console just to see which console I could get a better price for. While scrolling through, I noticed some retro stuff, and I got to thinking maybe someone was selling the console my dad said he had as a kid. When I typed in the description, there it was. Someone had posted one that fit his description exactly. The guy was selling it for about $75. I messaged the guy and he seemed pretty nice. We planned to meet at this mall nearest town that was about a 45-minute drive away. He told me he wasn't sure all the cords and stuff were there, and at the mall I could buy a wire if I needed one. I got to the mall and we set up the console in a cafe next to a GameStop. We set it up, it works great, and we make the deal. I'm not sure if this is the exact one my dad asked for, even though it was exactly what he described, but I knew he would be happy nonetheless. Before I started packing up, I wanted to play a little. This is where the entitled mom of the story and her 8 or so year old son come up to me. The kid notices the game I was playing and said it looked really fun. The entitled mom noticed me playing and walked over. "Hey, what game are you playing? Looks fun." "Oh, I'm not sure. I just bought this console." "How much was it?" "Well, I paid $75. "Awesome! Did you get it at this GameStop?" She motions towards the store right next to us. I was getting weird vibes, even though nothing weird had happened in our conversation. "No, they probably don't sell it there. I got it from someone else." She got an angry look on her face. "Who did you buy it from?" "I got it off Craigslist." "Not where, from who?" "Why do you need to know that?" She did not like that. "Listen, I want to buy my son a console for his birthday, but the new ones are all just too expensive. We have been to 3 different stores, and everything costs $300 or more, which is just crazy for a single parent to afford. I wouldn't expect a kid like you to understand. Now tell me who the person you bought it from was, and give me their number. I want to see if they're selling another one." At this point, I just want out of this whole conversation. I wouldn't want the person who sold me this console to give my number out to random people, so I'm not gonna give this entitled mother his number. I start packing up the console and keep the conversation going until all my stuff is packed, so I can leave the cafe and get out of there. I don't think he has any more to sell. I use Craigslist to find one, so if you just open your phone and, "What are you doing with the console?" "I'm just putting it away." "Listen, let me just buy it from you. I need to get my son a gift and I don't have much time." She takes a step closer and I start to scoot backwards, because I don't want anything to happen to the gift, and I hate when people are too close to me. It gives me anxiety. So when she grabs my arm and I immediately pull away out of fear, letting go of the game, she grabs the game and moves it to the other end of the cafe table so I can't reach it. "Listen, I will pay you for it. My son's birthday was a few days ago, and so I need this gift right now. I'm running out of time, so just listen to me." She pulls out her wallet and I realize if I don't start being aggressive, she might take off with my dad's present. I stand up and reach to the other end of the table. Maybe you should have planned on getting a gift before your son's birthday instead of trying to steal one from a stranger. She then snags the system out from my hands and hands it to her son behind her, so I can't get a hold of it. "I'm not stealing it. I will pay you what you got for it." She forces 2 20s and a $1 bill into my hand and then goes over to my bag to get the controllers and wires I had already put away. At this point, I'm furious. She's trying to pay me less than what I just paid for a console that they don't make anymore. And judging by the fact the Craigslist post was up for 6 months with no competition, it was safe to assume this was the only way I could get this console for my dad's birthday. I go to the kid and take it back from him. I did it a little aggressively because everything was happening so fast and I panicked. The second I took the console back, the kid started crying, and now the entire cafe was watching. The mom spun her head around, saw her kid and her new audience of people. "Why are you stealing my son's game?" She dropped the controller and ran over to her crying child. Later I found out that one controller cracked when it fell. "It's mine, not yours. I paid you for it, so now it's mine. Either you give me my money back or you can't have it." I pointed to the money she tried to give me that I placed on the table. "Take it. I never agreed to give it to you, so now I'm going to take my stuff and leave." "No, it's now my son's console." I could tell she was about to do something like call thief when another customer chimed in saying something like, "Lady, it's not yours." The entitled mother looked at all the faces staring at her. I assume she came to her senses because she picked up her son and just left. I grabbed everything, put it in my bag, and scurried away as fast as I could. To finish my end of the story, I went back home and wrapped the gift. At his birthday, I gave it to my dad and he was so happy he cried. I got the right one. He was so ecstatic I found the right one, and the only time I've ever seen him happier was in videos of his wedding day and my birth. I didn't get my own gift, but seeing my dad's face when he saw that I had gotten him a gift and I had listened and cared about him was worth more than any game console I could buy. I think it's important that I say something about this whole experience. When I talked to this mom, I didn't see a nasty, evil, one-dimensional demon who's just scum of the earth. This mom was in a frantic panic, and when she said I stole her son's console, I think she truly believed she was trying to do the right thing for her son. Not that this is any reason for behavior like this, but in the moment I wasn't able to see that this was a person who was a single mother just trying to find a game she could afford and would make her son happy. In life, it's important to remember that everyone has their own story, and it's important to remember in the end that we are all human, even though some people don't act like it sometimes. I hope I don't run into her or anyone like that again, but I do wish the mom found a gift for her son and that they were able to celebrate his birthday happily, just like I got to with my dad. So I'm just gonna help you guys out here. When you're trying to get somebody a gift, there's two things that you should keep in mind, okay? The first one is to get the gift before the event, right? You get the gift before their birthday, before the wedding, before whatever it is, all right? And the second thing is don't try and steal the gift from someone at the mall. There's a lot of things wrong with that. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Next, an entitled parent asks the question, why won't you let me skip you in an hour-long line? Me and my family recently went to Disneyland. Amazing vacation, except for this absolute lunatic of a mother. My brother and I were waiting in line for a pretty popular ride, Guardians of the Galaxy Drop Tower, which involves a long, looping line to get to the front doors. There's a pretty long line of people behind us, and we've been waiting for about an hour. From our left, the street for people to walk on. Hey, excuse me? Yeah, hi. Me and my family want to ride this one, but the line is way too long. I'm completely confused. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Assuming the conversation is over, I say, well, I understand that, and I attempt to go back to looking at my phone. She loudly clears her throat. I was saying you should help us. What? Well, I'm here with my children. How about you let us under the gate to take your place? Excuse me? They're such big fans of Guardian of the Galaxy. They have to ride this ride. I'm still shocked that this conversation is even happening. So I admit I just stared in complete shock for a moment until the entitled mom starts to try to pull her kid forward and make him jump over the fence, which is in place for this very reason. What the heck? The entitled mother, still acting like this is a completely normal thing to do, says, it wouldn't be too much of a hassle for you anyway. You're both young men. You can stand in line. My two kids are only 10. What? We're not doing that. Now, huffy and annoyed, she said, you're both men. You can go back to the start of the line and wait. This is a children's ride anyway. Just let them under so they can ride it. The entitled mom starts raising her voice and is still shoving her kid against the fence. Thankfully, some employee sees and starts to head over. The entitled mom sees the employee coming over and starts to raise her voice, clearly annoyed at me and my brother for not also being completely crazy. This is a children's ride, you biscuit eaters! Why are you so darn selfish? At this point, the line started moving again, so me and my brother hurried along and away from her. Last we saw, the employee was trying to stop her from shoving her child over the fence, still spouting insults at anyone who would listen. The ride was fantastic, and since we didn't see the entitled mom in line heading out, I guess she didn't get anyone else to fall for her tricks either. I mean, you can tell that this mom really wants to get her kids onto the ride, you know, she's wanting them to enjoy Disneyland, and that's great, that really is. But goodness, you can't just skip the line for your own convenience. Just wait in the back of the line like everybody else. A little bit of time will go by, you'll get on the ride, you'll enjoy it, and you won't have to make a complete embarrassment of yourself as you're screaming in public. And finally, we get to see what happens when an entitled parent decides to ask a stupid question. My son is biracial and fairly dark compared to me. Regardless of how he looks, it still baffles me that someone would automatically assume adoption given the amount of diverse couples in the United States. Nothing against adoption. Adoption is awesome, and if I had the financial resources, I would definitely adopt or foster. Also, is it really anybody's darn business whether the child is adopted or not? While shopping with my adorable spawn when he was probably 4 or 5 months old, a woman with the aged soccer mom look and a young teen obviously following along while watching videos on a smartphone approaches me and comments on how cute my kid is, then asks the question, where did you get him from? Seriously? What the heck sort of a question is that? My uterus? Where's that? Holy crap. Did she just think I named a foreign country? Near the Straits of Fallopian. How long did it take to get him? Are you freaking kidding me? Well, the initial proceedings were fairly quick, but there was a 9-month wait. Let me tell you, it felt like a weight dropped from my gut when I finally got him. The aged soccer mom, with the look of comprehension finally dawning, says, "You could have just said he was your real child." Oh, I could open up a whole new can of verbal butt kick all over your bad dye job, lady. I just say, but this was much more fun. The aged soccer mom becomes red-faced, sputters an insult, and starts walking away. I gently hold my son's hand in the air and wave it. Say bye-bye to the crazy lady, sweetie. My son spits up instead. Yeah, she made me feel sick too. I mean, the lesson here is pretty simple. Don't go prying into people just randomly in the supermarket. It's not worth your time, and you might make yourself look like a real fool. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Also, remember to check out Captain Zach's channel, Daily Dose of Reddit. The link is in the description down below.